Hello! Oh, sorry.
Hello! Pull up a chair and join us in the alcove.
Pull out
Here
and pull
with
out the chair.
Pull out the chair.
Here with episode 72 of our homebrewed 5th edition D&D campaign, the Chaoslands. As always, before we start, we have a handful of quick announcements, so let's go through those. We upload recorded VODs of our game to YouTube, and if you're watching this, that's likely where you are. If you aren't, you can find us on youtube.com/@thealcove. That's youtube.com/@THEALCOVE. If you like this video, please click the like button down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button, and you'll be notified when our next video goes live. If you want, you can also go and follow us on all of our social media accounts. Or don't, because social media is a hellhole, especially now. But if you want to, our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are all there. They exist, and they may or may not have content on them. They may or may not be banned by the U.S. government.
Why? What happened?
Now they're back, don't worry.
Sure.
For now. We use a variety of background music to improve the ambiance of our game and stream, and you may recognize some of it from Critical Role's Welcome to Tal'Dorei, Welcome to Wildmount, and Candela Obscura collection albums, as well as some royalty-free music courtesy of Riot Games. Links to those can be found below. Yeah, that's all the announcements. Anybody else have anything? Here we go. Cool. Let's begin our dive into the Chaoslands.
Oh, it didn't work.
The symbols.
After narrowly escaping an ancient and evil entity known as Kazmarath, the Ironwoe found themselves arriving at the Rexade of Silthia, tumbling headfirst, quite literally, into a web of conspiracies and secrets and strange machinations. Being informed by the guard at the gates of the city that their presence had been requested at the Gilded Oasis by a mysterious and influential figure, Caltier learned that this figure was likely one Lady Angelica Garnett, a woman who shares some familiarity and significance with Arkmir's past. He also learned that Lady Garnett had arrived at the city a few days ago, bringing with her some slaves in chains, one of whom had borne a striking resemblance to himself. As you descended into the city and arrived at the Praxis Market Hub, a bustling center of trade and commerce within the mysterious winding tunnels located and forming the East Wall district of the city, you found yourself surrounded by distractions and delights. Food, drinks, clothing, enchanted goods, all were plentiful. And after a long period of time spent with little opportunity to spend gold out in the wilderness during your travels, you took advantage of your arrival at a populous and enterprising city to partake in some good old-fashioned capitalism. Quickly finding, however, that some of the more enticing magic items were a little bit outside your price range. However, for Caltier, this shopping held little interest, and he quickly went about finding how to travel around the city and get to the Gilded Oasis, learning about the Waystones and their importance in safely navigating the strange tunnels. The strange and clearly magically influenced tunnels that spread through the walls of the glass-covered canyon that hold the city proper. Despite having the Waystones to guide you, the strange magics that work within the tunnels led to your group traveling in circles and wasting a lot more time than you had expected, winding through narrow tunnels and having difficulty keeping to the path, which led to a visible mounting frustration in Caltier as he attempted to lead the way. As Arkmir confronted him about the reason for his hurry, your companion revealed the truth about this captive elf and how they were a close friend of his, and the worry for her safety led to a greater sense of urgency that he'd been experiencing since his arrival here. Arriving at the castle in Gondola on the face of the East Wall Canyon, however, you also found yourself in front of a small shrine, a gate of sorts, to Linvari herself. Feeling that his goddess had something important for him to consider, Caltier reluctantly stepped inside the temple to pray, taking some time and attempting to put his troubled mind at ease. He was rewarded of sorts with a conversation, a frank exchange with his goddess, who shared that he was on the right path and dangerously close to the source of what he had been seeking all along. With this message and the prayer given to Linvari, and a grim prophecy and purpose in mind, out there you awoke from your reverie. You saw the statue sitting in front of you that you had placed as part of your meditation. As you picked it up, you noticed faintly within a sort of pale glowing light within the core of the statue. It looks slightly different than when you placed it down. Picked it up, you hung it at your waist, and exited from this chamber, rejoining your friends here on the outside of this shrine to the Shade Sister, and that's where we'll pick up. What are you guys doing while Kelther has gone inside? It took him a few minutes to finish his prayers. What would you all have been doing? Would any of you have followed in? Would you?
No, I said I was going to stand in front of the door so nobody else would follow in. That's what I'd be doing, staying in God. Trying to shoo away any randoms that might be getting curious.
This particular exit seems fairly quiet and empty at this point of day. It is shortly after noon, and you can tell this because the sun is directly above the glass above you, or it would be if there wasn't a dark black cloud above. So you can't really see much, though you can notice through the clouds just like a faint yellow light as you look out, as you step out onto this terrace and look out into the glass. First up, there's the glass, which is clear, and above it you can make out the sky above you, dark cloud, red lightning occasionally darting around it, but faintly in the middle you can see a sort of like faintly glowing yellow orb that would be the sun. You can make it out above you.
Does the red lightning ever like strike the city?
It is almost constantly like striking the glass surface,
Okay.
and like darting off of it, but the surface of the canyon kind of covers it, and so nothing seems to penetrate through it.
Yeah, just chilling, waiting.
Looking out across this canyon, I described kind of the view that you saw below you earlier. One thing I forgot to describe was the fact that the opposite wall across the canyon, you can see these bridges and tunnels very similar to this side, but because of the angle that you're looking at, you can also make out there's all sorts of like strange crystal growths along it, almost like veins of strange colored crystals, some purple, some blue, some red, almost forming this like glimmering crystalline sort of fractures along the canyon wall. You can assume that there's the same ones exist on this wall as well.
Can I make out where the academy would be?
You saw that there were two very large buildings. One of them in the southern end of the canyon, one of them in the northern end. Make a perception check.
Can I smell the school?
Similar. Roll.
Nailed it.
I rolled a 1. I don't see shit.
You aren't able to clearly make it out, but there are the two largest buildings. The one in the southern end is very, very much more ornate. There are more spires, there are more domes, there are more structures. There's like tall, it's like almost like a multi-tiered building that's like built into the edge of the canyon.
Okay.
There's like several terraces and verandas and like long spires that are sticking out, and the central spire is the tallest by far. It's very clear that that building is the most ornate building in the city, while the one at the opposite end is a little bit plainer, a little bit smaller. Make of that what you know.
Okay.
Are there any structures for me to like climb up? Look around,
I don't think so. Right here, like where you are is basically like a terrace that's jutting out from the canyon wall. You can potentially climb up the canyon face.
I
If
see.
you would like.
Is it like a closed terrace? Is it the terrace that opens up and goes like like an external walkway?
Yeah, there's an external walkway that connects to and like continues on. It goes down a little bit. It's basically built along the face of this canyon. And as
no
further
exits type of thing?
ahead and down a little bit is where the gondola is. But all of these are almost like attached to the face of the canyon. And then there's other entrances into the tunnels themselves.
So I do want to walk. Maybe I'll scale the canyon a bit, but as I'm doing it, I'm also just wanted to take a quick look out to see if anyone like, I guess Ren, someone else is following us, or also if there's any crows from like Lady Garnet.
Make a perception check.
18.
You've been standing here for like 4 or 5 minutes now while Calther has been within the shrine. You have not seen anybody else emerging from the tunnel where you're at. There are a few people milling about near the gondola, and you notice the gondola arriving during this time period, and maybe 2 or 3 people hop off of it. None of them come in your direction. They seem to be going from the landing. The like terrace goes further down. They're going down, and then or like 2 of them go down, turn into one of the tunnels there. One of them comes up, but turns into another like tunnel entrance before where you guys are. So this exit seems like it's fairly untraveled.
Diamond would be curious to try to spot any symbols of.
Haagen-Dazs?
Haagen-Dazs.
I forgot one thing really quickly, so I'm going to go back to that. There are birds that are flying around in this canyon. You don't spot any that seem specifically like a crow.
Or raven.
But you notice a few, probably
'cause what's your name?
like half a dozen to 10 different birds kind of like flying around, flying to like edges, flying between the 2 canyon faces. Yeah, you don't recognize Rufus.
Rufus.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were looking for a symbol of Agonaz.
Yeah.
Haagen-Dazs.
Okay.
Anything either on the city itself, any symbols like either from a temple or something, or signs of it anywhere. Just keeping an eye out for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you probably don't need to roll for it. There isn't any that you see.
Okay.
But the fact that there is a red lightning bolt in the sky above you constantly is kind of could be considered a symbol.
Do you have
That's
Foco
about
out?
it.
No.
Let's see if he was reacting to the silver tree at all.
Does this strike me so far from what I could see as a city that there would be religious types around?
I mean, you gather that there's at least a shrine that Kalthir is in.
People were
That's
talking
all you
about
really
it too,
know
right?
about it so far. So,
Okay. Kind of curious to see if there's any people who worship Haagen-Dazs.
I think it's about this time that you emerge from the temple. Big one, you notice Kalthir approaching. You step aside and he exits.
Yeah, I think last time I mentioned I'd just walk out and just say, I think we should keep moving down to the canyon.
Did he look any different?
Make a perception check.
Does he smell any different?
He smells the same.
Okay. Yeah. 10.
9 doesn't look any different to you.
Do we have a plan?
I think we need to draft a plan and figure out what the best course of action for both going to
Gilded Oasis.
Good Oasis. My kind of show up there.
Yeah.
Good
I will be
Oasis.
looking around because I don't know what they were doing while I was in there, so I'm also just kind of out of paranoia going to be looking around to see if there's anybody around us at the moment.
Full on owl mode.
Yeah.
Make a perception check.
This
Like the
one.
webcam, like the LiDAR sensor.
Yeah.
19
Plus 7.
plus 8.
I can't now.
I had plus 8.
You're pretty certain that you're in the sphere right now. Like nobody has any eyes on you at the moment.
Okay.
Like focused. But also like where you are is kind of like at the very corner of where the tunnel is emerging out into the terrace.
Mhm.
Maybe once you're out on the terrace, people might. notice
Oh,
you
okay. I
more
thought we
likely,
were on
but-
the terrace.
I mean, it's just the exit, so
Well,
3
we-
steps forward, you'll be more like less sheltered by.
I take 3 steps forward and see how close people are to me.
You're now on the terrace. The surface beneath you changes from stone to wood. Nothing else changes.
Okay. So there's nobody like in the immediate vicinity
no,
of us?
nobody in the immediate vicinity.
First
Okay.
things first, we have to find the Gilded Oasis.
Yes.
And
Do
we
you
need
have
to
a
figure-
waystone for that?
I don't have one for there. I think
We have
I
one
thought you
I was
Didn't?
for
To
the
the
Gilded
area-
Oasis.
to the area
no,
they said.
I have Praxis Hub and
Oh, you
Nexus
have
Hub in the gondola.
Yes, yeah, because there's no waystones in the canyon itself. Yes.
I was told to look for a dolphin fountain.
Right.
There it is.
That's the extent of what I know.
As you're looking out over this terrace, would you like to look for the dolphin fountain?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I'll look for it.
Make a perception check.
15.
You do not see a fountain that looks like a dolphin.
Damn.
But it's also like quite a lot of stuff in front of you.
What do you have waystones for again?
Praxis Hub, Omexis Hub, and the gondola. This specific Cassidon gondola.
Shall we wait? Oh, okay. So the gondola, where does it go?
The gondola takes you down into the
It
canyon.
goes down in the canyon. We're like up high.
It's like a
we gotta
steel
go
lift that's
down.
taking you down
Yeah.
from the surface of this canyon down to the floor.
Oh,
of
okay.
the
So
bar.
we have like a overlooking view
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
the
yeah.
tower.
You're about halfway up the canyon wall,
Yep.
and you're looking down at the city below you that stretches out.
And we
this
can't
canyon.
see a dolphin fountain.
No.
I mean, if there's enough
There's buildings and stuff.
The dolphin
It's
fountain's
not,
also this big.
it's not like the dolphin fountain is on top of a roof.
That would be.
There's a
mean,
lot of
though.
stuff. There's a lot of trees and stuff down there as well that are like hiding your visuals. Like,
Do you think taking the gondola would help us see on this? We can ask them for directions
Yeah,
right there.
perhaps we can, yes, get more directions when we're down there. I don't know how eager you are to go there immediately, but I did like the idea of potentially staying back myself and not going there, and actually thinking it could be worthwhile to see if Volro is in the city somewhere and if he'd be able to meet. I wouldn't mind reaching out to him and perhaps seeing if I can meet up with him while maybe you're at
I don't
the
mind
Oasis.
going on my own to the Gilded Oasis.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah,
whoa!
I
You're
don't know
gonna
if we
look
will.
into a mirror and then we're
Yeah.
watching forever.
Yeah.
I've met
can
with
accompany
Lady
you.
Garnet before.
Yeah, but there
you
could
can
be
take care of
buttons in
Kelthier, I can
there.
take care of Arkmir,
Alright,
and you
alright.
can color or something. No, and by that I mean you can draw maps of the place so we know where we're going to be breaking in.
Well, if I did that, I could probably record it in any language because I can read any language. I don't think I've told you guys that.
Can you write all languages?
Yep.
I believe.
Inside check.
We don't necessarily have to split up into just two. We can do whatever we see
Sure,
is
but
necessary here. Do we not want someone
What
to
did you
attend?
roll?
Pretty high.
Okay.
Did we
Like a
not
20 something,
want someone to go visit the
Well,
school?
I rolled a 3, so
Well, I know. Wait, did we?
I
can
don't
only
think
read,
I
right?
can. Yeah.
I guess it's a little. Is there something particular from the school, or is it more of an open-ended, just trying to learn what we can?
Just a little bit more about learning what we can. I feel like there was also actually clears up that like there was something I actually had from the school. There's someone.
I
Well,
wanna go to
Shay
school.
went to the school,
Oh, wait, that's what it was. There was something else. about the
and
school.
player talk.
I wanna go to
Astra
the
wanted to go
school.
to the school.
yeah.
I want a broom.
I just threw that out as a suggestion.
Yeah.
So we could, if we want to split up,
Two parties doing different things. We could
Yeah.
scope out.
I
And
said 3, essentially 2.
I'm pretty good at schematics. I can make a good
So-
blueprint of the place by memory.
the dark regret when you got the
Oh,
waste
that's
onto
not
it.
forget.
It was
The
on-
guy mentioned that it was in the other.
Yeah, I know that. I know that the Dark Red is on the other side. But that doesn't mean we can't meet him somewhere else.
Yeah.
Again, don't,
You begin making your way to the gondola. There is nobody else on the gondola. There is one person who's the operator who asked you guys to show your waystone, and you show them the waystone pointing to the castle gondola, and they grant you access into it.
I'm gonna ask him if he knows. Oh damn, you won't even know. You need a waystone regardless in this freaking
Does he know the
city.
Muffin Man?
Do you know where I can get more waystones? Specifically one for the Gilded Oasis.
Well, there's waystone booths in both the market hubs and downstairs, or not downstairs,
The bottom
down
of the
in the
gondola?
canyon. It's near, just across from the academy. There's a booth for waystones. However, the Gilded Oasis is. I know of that place. I've never been because it's for more political visitors and stuff. But it's in the canyon.
Okay.
There won't be a waystone for that. You don't need a waystone out there. You only need a waystone in here.
Ah. Where
Out
is
there,
it?
there's probably just a map. You can ask someone for it, or ask for directions.
son of a bitch.
What did he say that the Gilded Oasis was for?
What's that?
Making
Politics.
making
Oh, it's like
Silthia
a
great again.
political.
Political dignitary.
It's very
For the
timely.
Make Silthia
Rich
great
people.
again. Banners, and we're good.
I'm gonna
Make
go run
Silthia
their
great
Department
again.
of Efficiency.
Uh, Roll a d20 for me, and on a 18 plus, this guy actually knows where the guild device is.
18 plus, do you know me?
He's not really been there, but he might have heard
Okay,
of
that
it.
was right over my days. 4.
This guy has heard of it, but he doesn't know exactly where it is.
Dang.
While he's having that conversation, I am going to try sending.
Okay.
And Astra's looking for a dolphin fountain as we're moving.
You rolled once already. You don't see it any different from over here.
She's still looking though.
Yes, we can be looking for sure.
Alright, I'm going to try sending a message to Volro
Oh boy.
and just say,
Hey, Daddy.
Papa, it's me. Volro, are you still in Silthia? If so, we should meet in the canyon. It's important. That's all I'm going to say. And he should know it's me.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one person with your lack of tone. That's you.
Kaldur. Excellent timing. I've been following a lead. I don't want to put it off. Go to in the canyon.
In canyon.
Sorry, he didn't say go to. In the canyon.
Go to in the canyon.
There's a scholar named Fainville. Faenwyll.
FayenA
Faen
Faen.
Wyll.
Fanwill.
Imagine
Fainwell?
all of that through
Fainwell.
sending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spells it out.
Yeah. Starts a new message.
Yeah.
WYLL.
Okay. Fainwell,
Has
Fainwell.
chambers in the library. Go there, ask him. Ask for him. He'll clue you in on what I'm up to.
Mm.
I could be in danger.
Oh shit.
That's where he ends up.
Okay.
Help, please.
Well, Volro's a lost cause.
He's already dead.
Quite the coincidence that you mentioned the academy. It appears that may be where I am heading. I've reached out to Volro, though I don't believe he's there.
He technically said library, not academy.
Oh, I thought the first thing you said was
Sorry.
academy.
If I said academy, I said it wrong. I
think
meant
it's a
library.
I think you said academy library, but that's fine.
It's the
I did
library.
write library.
Yeah.
Okay, so just not the academy.
They
don't have
may be
libraries.
two separate places.
They don't have a. Okay.
They likely would be close.
We
We don't know.
Probably.
They would likely be close.
This episode's gonna need a lot of editing.
Yeah. Let's start this all again.
Yeah.
We did the script.
Hi!
Yeah.
Pull out. Oh shit.
Then I won't say about the academy part, but I will mention Volro is potentially somewhat in or around the city, though he seems preoccupied at the moment. He did tell me to ask for someone at a library in the canyon. I'm not sure if that's connected to the academy.
Academy sounds like a place that would have a library.
You would think.
In schema, places of learning typically had libraries close by for students to peruse.
And I remember when I asked what's her name about the brooms, because that's probably our top priority right now, is that they would use the brooms at the academy, I think in the library, to go like replace light bulbs and stuff. So I think it's all got to be one and the same.
Perhaps.
So it sounds like you're going on a separate adventure from where you
You're
need
now
to.
on this gondola that is slowly
Yeah.
ascending.
Is this as slow as the other thing?
It's slower, if anything.
Mm.
Yeah,
62 minutes later.
Alright, rest of the session.
It's not that slow.
Should we take a long rest?
Yeah.
On the gondola, yeah.
It's a very smooth descent, and even though it is like tied but with a cable and you can see the pulleys, they are like actual like mechanical things connected to it, but you're not sure how that could be possible because the amount of weight that this is holding and sustaining is way more than any of the pulleys could potentially.
If
sustain.
you'll let me go back
Yes.
30 seconds.
No.
Knowing Volro and him saying he may be in danger, how did his like tone come across from what I would know him usually to sound like?
Maybe.
Like, can I get a
He
sense of
sounded
urgency?
he sounded more tense
Okay.
than you were used to. I think you could also sense that he was maybe trying to hide it or downplay it a little bit.
Okay.
He was surprised. You could sense a little bit of surprise to hear.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But you could also tell that he was tense. Very
Okay.
tense.
Okay.
I'm going
Throw a
to. I
psychic
want to
dagger.
cast Psychic Whispers.
Oh.
I feel like because I have the new soul knife, it just rearranged it. Where are you? Is there
Oh, are
anything
you the new
different?
Hot 2024?
Okay, yeah, I expend one of my charges, and I guess I roll a d8 now, so it can be.
Oh, it could last all
8
day
hours.
almost. Incoming one.
That's cocked. That was almost a 2. That's a 4. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna message Calthea. But my plan is to go to the Gilded Oasis, obviously, to meet Lady Garnet. But I want to know: is there anything I should know about your friend that would help? Anything that I should look for?
I believe if you see her, it will be quite obvious, given there would. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Other than that, there's probably not too much else that I can provide right now.
You could actually see Asher just doing that.
Does she have a name?
She does, but I will let her introduce herself when the time comes.
Until then, Mrs. Calthier.
Aren't they talking in their head?
Yes.
Yes. You're just telling these things.
So
I'm
you're
like,
just in the corner like, for no reason.
Yeah.
Is Asher okay?
She's just.
Well, she's looking down into the cave.
Yeah.
She saw someone. She's like,
Yeah.
So that girl who went to dinner that one time at the start of the campaign.
I didn't find the dolphin fountain, but I found you.
Never mind.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Oh, those were more like.
Those were. Yep.
Yeah.
I guess there's
Anyway.
nothing at this time that you'd like to share about this individual.
she's an elf. Similar features to myself. She does have hair. Maybe that'll help.
Do you mind if I ask you how you two are connected?
We're friends.
You've obviously been
Astra,
Keeping
you
it-
are right.
Yeah. Just look over. Asher's like,
Would I be wrong if I said that you led us to believe that you do not know anyone else outside of this group?
You would not be wrong.
Would you understand if I told you that there may be an issue with our trust?
No.
Okay.
Right now, I think the fact that I'm telling you all, while it may not appear at first glance a symbol of trust, know that I hold information close to the chest and quite dearly. That by telling you all and putting the understanding of these other individuals that I know is a trust in all of you. And I think in light of those who are somehow affiliated with yourself as well, I think I also am having to trust in something that I do not understand, just as I am asking you to trust in me. So right now, I think we're all just having to hope.
Are there
You say into his brain.
Yeah.
Nobody.
insight? Are there? I'm not asking for names or descriptions or whatnot, but are there others beyond Volro and this?
Mrs.
I'll share that in time.
Okay.
Is he gonna be like the most popular person? Like, he has,
There's like 900 friends.
Yeah.
Oh, hail Lord Counselor! He's the chosen one.
The gondola is about halfway.
So, I mean, there's only 5 of us. So, without seeming a little inconsiderate, you 3 are the weakest. We're the strongest in certain aspects. All I'm saying is we shouldn't go together. As much as I love fighting beside you, you
What
want to go to
happened
academy.
Tuesday, but-
You need to go to a library.
Wow.
I've seen her do that a bunch. I don't quite know what it means, but they go hand in
I think
hand.
it's like take action on the plan.
Yes, they go hand in hand.
That's
Yeah.
not.
Or
Yeah.
they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You need to go to the Gilded Oasis. I could certainly accompany you there. Last pub that I remember being in, even though I'm quite sure I never actually visited there, they had great apple teenies. I would love to see if this place also has it.
Perhaps refrain from any offered drinks until you know better.
Okay. But I could accompany you, and then we could reconvene somewhere. I mean, we have ways of...
Yeah.
It sounded like the fellow over here said it's pretty easy to navigate, in at least as long as you're in the canyon.
I don't know where the library is right now, so perhaps we can start heading towards the academy and see where this is. Timon, do you want to accompany us?
Sure. All right.
Splitting the party.
As the gondola descends and lands, you find yourself at the base of a vast canyon. There's a bunch of trees. As you were descending, you could see almost like orchards of trees with fruits, and you could see people on ladders, almost like in this neighborhood that you're descending into. There's an orchard just beside you. People are climbing on top of ladders, like pulling these fruit out. And almost as soon as they pluck a fruit, another one starts growing in
Cool.
the same exact spot
Sick.
that you're kind of looking at. Off in the distance, you can make out in the middle of this canyon the river that you were looking down at from above. And that river, upon like closer inspection, you can tell that the river is itself faintly glowing. That you can now just barely make out because you can see like a little bit of light and fog and mist rising from the middle of it. You notice people in all sorts of like carrying this fruit away to like different shops. A few of these baskets are just floating along behind someone as they're like walking, and it's just following, bouncing in the air behind them. You notice a couple of carts, but where this gondola kind of comes to rest is very much like an agricultural, almost like a farmland type area.
It sounds lovely, but the music is making it sound real spooky.
Yes.
Dun. There's somebody there.
The
Like-
music was there for the conversation that Keltier and Arkmir were having. But now it's back to being peaceful. Now it's back to being delightful. It's fairly lively and bustling. There's a lot of people walking back and forth. You notice a few teenagers just running, potentially late for something, just running down the street. Where you land and you step off of the gondola, there's a couple of porters who are just standing there waiting to get on. And you notice immediately from at the exit of the gondola, just beside you, there is a large placard with a map that says where you are. Unfortunately, it's not a real map that I can hand to you, but I can tell you where things are within this canyon.
Oh. It would appear we're here.
Yeah, there's a label spot that says Castle Gondola. It's glowing, faintly flickering.
Nice.
How separated, if we trace it along the finds,
Mhm.
I'm assuming the school is probably marked at least. And
Yes. So the school is marked. The school and the seat of the chambers. Let me just grab this note here. You notice a sign just at the very southernmost tip that is labeled as the Syncrophic Academy of Magic.
I knew it.
And in the center of it, the tallest spire, it just says Ashar Pinnacle.
Ashar.
So what's the name of the school again? Sorry.
The Syncrophic Academy of
I
Magic.
don't know.
Syncrophic.
SYNC
Sync.
ROPHIC.
Oh, you tricked me there.
Is that a made up word or is that a real
I
Syncrophic.
word?
have no idea.
School of what?
Academy of Magic.
Damn it.
Because I kept wanting to call it the syncotrophic.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
And an Ashar Pinnacle is AESHAR.
Oh, nailed it.
Sorry, say that again.
AESHAR. Pinnacle.
AESHR.
AR.
AR. Pinnacle.
And the river that kind of spans the middle of this and it's ending in the academy at the end is called the River Ashar. Ashar.
So we have a physical map now, or we just have like a?
No, this is like
it's
one of
on
those
the
you
wall.
are here
You are here.
mall maps.
Oh, okay. But we're gonna get a physical map. Probably.
We'll pick one up somehow. We might not get it, but our characters will have one.
I haven't got that.
Damn it.
There's a few landmarks that are very clearly marked.
Let's just
There
take this
is
whole
in the
board.
very middle of this river. There is a large island on which it is simply labeled. Where did it go?
Someone do a really nice drawing and send it into our group chat.
What? Why did I lose that?
It's called Shard of the something.
Oh yeah.
It's. Where did it go?
The Aether Tree.
It's called Shattered something.
The
but I
Shattered
don't remember.
Aether Tree.
Which note did it go? What?
Is Kathy, are you saying that out loud?
Yeah, that's totally what. That's Kelsey.
I think because I was looking it up. I think because I have proficiency bonus 4 now. Psychic Whispers would allow me to connect to everyone. So no one's left out.
shit.
Oh, nice.
I
I'll be
feel
like,
But you're probably going to exclude Alice.
Yeah. Just say hi to everyone. And everyone's like,
Hi,
smile
hi,
face.
not you. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it the Shattered Star
Shattered Star.
That's gonna be
because I can't figure out the actual name for it.
Incoming
Message in your head, a
retcon.
sound.
Yeah,
Like-
incoming retcon.
No, that is what it's called.
Shattered Star.
Which is the tree on the
It
island?
is
That's
labeled
me.
like you can see. There's the trunk that is there.
Wait, is
The
this
art
the
is fancily
silver?
done.
Is this the silver tree?
The Shattered
The
Star.
trunk of the tree.
It's just the base, even. Like, it's the base and it goes up, like, maybe 20 feet, 30 feet, and then it's just shattered, and there's, like, pieces of trunk or bark that are just floating up
Floating.
above it.
Wait, that was up.
It's in the middle of the
Well, we
base
saw
of
it
the
when
canyon.
we
You
were-
saw
We
it from
saw
up
it.
above.
Oh,
It
we
was
saw
very
it.
noticeable because it's, like, on an island by itself in the middle of nothing covering it.
Got it.
But yeah, that is labeled there. As you look around on this map for library. Funnily enough, it's about the farthest you could get from the academy.
Oh shit.
It's the building at the opposite end of the canyon, the north end.
You don't know how to
Is it the
construct
other tall
cities.
building?
Huh?
Is it the other
It is
tall
the
building?
other large building, and it is marked as the Library Melyria.
Melania?
Melyria. Melyria.
Isn't
You
that
spell way too quick.
a
M-E.
disease of mosquitoes?
Lyria.
Melyria.
Yeah.
Is anyone proficient in religion?
I'm pretty sure I'm vaccinated
Yeah, of
against that.
Make a religion check.
Wait. Nope, definitely not. Half proficient.
Woohoo, 26.
You immediately recognize it, and it's coupled with the fact that there was writing written on it in Celestial. That's what clues you in. Melir is the goddess of knowledge and the sharing of knowledge, and the fact that she holds such a prominent place in the city means this temple this library must also be serving as some sort of a temple or an institute of prayer and religion as well.
Well, it seems you guys have a big
The
hike in front of you.
sage?
This gondola has let you off is actually closer to the north side than it is to the south side.
Maybe
Yeah,
if we
'cause
go
we
to
were
the
on
south
the-
side later, you guys can go to the library. We'll find out where the Gilded
Gilded
Oasis is, and
Yeah,
then
where's
as a
that?
unit, we can go to
To the
the
academy.
academy later on.
The Gilded Oasis itself is not marked,
Yeah.
but there are. You
Does it
spend a
say
little bit of time.
Dolphin statue.
You
Yeah.
spend a little bit of time just like going over all of the like parks with a fine-tooth comb,
We find a
and
dolphin.
you eventually find a statue that looks kind of like a small fish.
That's the one.
That's probably an artistic representation of it.
Hey, look, I found it before Astro.
I actually saw it first. I saw it from the gondola.
It's just called Brookfish Park.
Brookfish Park.
Yes. And you gather that it is close to the academy.
So it's on the south side.
I guess we're going.
So,
Just the two.
just to kind of clarify my mind picture, there's the canyon, I assume, or the
Yes.
valley.
Yes.
Then there is a south wall and a north wall.
Mm-hmm.
And-
Technically, there's an east wall and a west wall. Yeah, that it kind of forms like a vagina.
Come city, baby.
I'm just saying that at the north it's like connected and the south is connected, and the middle
Okay.
is where the canyon is.
It's
But you can never
It
find
looks
it.
more like an eye.
I always
to
knew
be
the city was
entirely
beautiful.
honest.
So,
But
so the
No. Is the
so the
Golden
academy
Oasis, like,
is at the clitoris or at the taint?
depends on how you're looking at it.
we're never gonna find the academy
Yeah.
then.
The academy is at the southern.
I might. You guys won't be able to.
The academy is at the southern end, and the library is at the northern end.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's far.
It is very
Academy's
far,
at the
yes.
north end. Sorry, say that again.
The academy is at the southern end, and
Yeah.
the library is at the northern end.
Now I really can't wait for a phase map.
Yeah.
I'm not making it. That's why I'm not making a map. It's
Silthia's
literally
map over
the
here.
exact reason.
I was like, you gotta
That's a nice
erase
gaping
everything and make sure.
I just drew Silthia here, guys.
Yep.
So
Gotta come up with
then,
some fan art.
This is the
Please don't.
academy.
the academy and the Gilded Oasis are close.
Yes.
Ish. Okay.
They're both on the southern side.
No, wait. The library is on the north,
The library
the
is
very
on the
farthest point,
and then the academy then
is the
at the
southest
bottom.
point, which is
Yeah.
closer to the Gilded Oasis.
The other landmark that you have seen before, and that is actually surprisingly close to where you are,
The planet
would
thing.
be the orrery.
Yeah.
You immediately recognize it on the map. It's about halfway down.
There's my picture.
Closer to the east.
Why?
Closer to the east wall.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah.
All right. Got it.
Wait, what was? Sorry, I'm too new.
Orrery
Where?
is close to us right now on the
Gotcha.
east wall.
How do you
On the
spell
east
that?
wall.
I don't know.
Orrery. Orrery.
O-R-R.
I spelled it the other day.
E-R-Y.
Orrery.
That actually is a real word. So,
Orrery.
Oh.
I don't like it.
Library is on the north,
yes.
and down here.
Are there any other landmarks that you're looking for? I think those are all the ones that you.
Is
would
there any like
know
on the
about.
map that are like huge and stand out? Because
Is
it might worth
the-
noting.
There's
but
a couple.
Is the Omexis market down here? Is that?
That's on the other
that's
wall.
on the other wall.
Okay.
The market hubs are in the walls outside of the canyon.
Gotcha. Is there a market down here?
There's a small part of the river that you notice that's like almost like curved into an S bend, and it immediately stands out because there's two buildings that are located at like each end of that S, that are labeled as the Twin Thinkers.
thinkers or tinkers?
Thinkers.
Thinkers. Twin thinkers.
Another building that jumps out at you is on the north side, close, not as close to the academy, or sorry, the
Library.
south side, not as close to
Okay.
the academy.
Yeah.
But it is simply called the Glassword Institute of Music.
Glass. Word.
Yes, except with one S.
I already put two. Glassword industry.
Institute
Industry.
of Music
Where's that one?
On the south side
on
somewhere?
the south. It's
South
close to
ish?
the academy, but not like right beside it.
Cool.
And then, sorry, Twin Thinkers was where?
It was on along like the S shape of the river.
There's like a little S bend in the river, like north of where the center, like the tree is.
Okay.
Kind of like that, right?
Think so, yeah. Looks pretty good.
River S-bend.
Yep. I've seen that before in a textbook somewhere. Yep.
There's like some woods up here.
Yep.
It's a
Sometimes-
desert.
Sometimes it rains. Put a couple water drops there. It rains sometimes.
Yeah. Cool.
You did this to yourself.
It looks like an eye.
It's a
That's
great
no.
map.
That's not what you
No,
too
and
late.
an eye turns the other way.
Uh-huh.
said.
The fans heard.
Yeah. Well, it would appear that I'm heading towards the northern side, as that's where the library is.
It definitely sounds like you should go there. I don't know how much time we want to waste, though. It might still be beneficial for you and I to try and at least scope out the Gilded Oasis. We don't have to go as far as the academy, but if your friend is in danger, we should probably get ahead of this.
You would also notice that, I'm just gonna say you got the location of all the 3 gondolas on either side, that all lead to different points in the wall face. And then there's a bunch of bridges that cross up above you that you can kind of see. They're all there's walkways connecting throughout the entire faces of the canyon. But the fastest way to get from the canyon to the walls is the 3 gondolas on each side.
Gondolas are the way to go.
Just to get up to an entrance into the tunnels.
Gotcha.
Funny enough, this reminds me of... it's kind of the reverse of us in Schema.
Yeah, a little bit.
Self and Big One, and we met up with you guys, and so maybe we're gonna split up shortly.
Aw,
Well.
memories.
If you guys need anything, if you get into trouble,
Remind me, how far is the...
Only a mile.
Is it longer than a mile?
How long is a mile?
1,000
About
meters.
1,600
1,600 meters.
Yeah.
How long is 1,600 meters?
1 million centimeters.
I'm gonna say the
4,000 feet.
ends of the canyon are probably more than a mile apart.
So we might be
Damn,
within
that's
a
pretty
mile because we're not going quite to the tip. We're going to Gilded Oasis.
Well,
Yeah,
But
That's
we
fine.
can we
We'll
can
be
say
in touch.
we can say
it's not much more than a mile though.
That's
so-
fine. We can always just head south and then
Yeah.
until we can connect.
can you hear me now?
How
Can
about
you
now?
hear me
How about now?
It'll last for 4 hours.
Astra, if you see any apples, buy some. I want to try
I
the
mean,
apples.
there's
Okay.
a bushel of apples that are literally just
Found
being
some.
Never
carted
mind, I
across in
found
front of you.
I'm gonna go buy a bushel before. Well, bushel's huge, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna buy a sack, like a 6-pack a sack.
You don't have to buy
6 sack a pack.
You just pluck them.
Oh, is it apple tree?
Yeah.
Can
mean,
I?
there's
Am
a
I
bunch of
allowed to
orchards.
pluck them?
I mean, might have to look a little bit to see if you can find one that's not already been plucked. They're in
I thought they grew
varying,
back right away.
they're in varying
Yeah.
stages of growth.
If I see,
So it's
one,
not fully grown yet.
do I
Potentially,
see one that looks?
yeah, you very easily
There are
just find
holes.
I
one.
will reach up and I will take it and I will try it.
It's a cursed orchard.
tastes
Burn it
delicious.
down.
Fuck yeah, they have good apples.
You do notice the person who's carting the apples away give you a little bit of a stink eye, but
Oh, do I pay you?
no.
Well, then fuck you. Just go back to eating it without saying anything.
Do they import Ward water here?
Oh, shit. The second my big one remembers that, he's gonna be devastated.
So what are you guys doing?
So I guess this is
Anything
goodbye
else
forever.
before?
So, who's going where?
Well, I'm heading to the library, and you two are welcome to join me.
I think we're all gonna go to the academy after this,
Okay.
so you're not gonna miss that. We're just going to the Gilded Oasis.
To make sure
Okay.
Slade
If
doesn't
you two want to
escape.
accompany Kelthir, we can then meet up and then go find a brew.
I'm waiting for Arkmir to get there. As soon as he walks in, just being like, he suspects nothing.
So that's the plan then. Be safe, be vigilant.
Imagine we'll reconvene in a few hours.
We'll let you know what we find.
We convene where?
To be determined, I suppose.
Either you make your way down here, closer to the academy, or we can meet back somewhere here. Near
I
the
guess if we haven't heard from each other, perhaps we head towards... I mean, we can either come back here, or we could...
Wait, is the dark regret down here?
No, that's in the
It's up to
western
you.
wall.
Damn it, sorry.
Yeah.
Missed it.
We could head towards the Aurora.
The horror is.
It's kind of
That's
right in the
easily
middle.
spottable.
It's pretty
Yeah.
in the middle.
Is
It's
it
like
the spot and halfway?
Cool.
All right, if
Alright,
we have
that's
if
the
we don't
plan.
hear from each other, then go
Over
there.
okay. Stay safe.
Or
I put my trunk
Halfway?
in.
I mean, it's on the eastern wall, so it's.
My trunk's on top of his hand.
I'm not familiar with.
Put a hand in.
This
It's
is-
good luck. Just touch at the top of Astra's hand. No, other side. Flip it. Flip it and reverse it. It's down. Flip it idiot.
Okay, so which one of you guys do we want to follow first?
Go for it. This is your,
Let's go with the
yeah.
library
Yeah.
quick first.
Sure.
It's just like when
With
we
the
started.
nerd.
That's what he was saying.
Just
It's
like when
yeah.
we started.
The three of you began making your way to the northern edge, following this pathway that sort of winds a little bit before arriving at the edge of the river, essentially. There's like small bridges that go over the river, and everywhere around you is just signs of magic.
Are you getting one? Okay, yeah, sure. Give
I
me
got
that.
some.
One more water bottle.
It's harder to notice because it's daytime, but almost like every step you take on the cobblestones, there's like a faint glow from the cobblestones, kind of like lighting up underneath you. You gather it might be for travelers who are traveling at night.
I do have a question as we're walking through
yes.
the canyon. Given I've never been to anything like this,
Yep.
the kind of atmosphere inside of this, does it feel natural, or is there like something about the air here? Like, I'm wondering if, because in my mind I would think like we're just in a sauna or something, right? Like we're basically in this container with a glass where the sun is beaming down through the glass. Like, is there something, is it like natural, or does something feel unnatural
Like
about
air
it?
conditioning.
Yeah, like, how does it feel in here? Super humid, or...
It feels very pleasant, and you gather that that's probably not natural.
Okay.
You gather that there's definitely some level of arcane magic diffusing everything, and even the air is like faintly tingles as you like breathe it in. You can sense magic on everything.
Okay.
Um,
Detect magic. Oh, God!
and now,
Behind me.
like I mentioned it earlier, but I don't know if you might have overheard, but even the river that you're walking past, like underneath, you can see it's faintly glowing, and there's like mist that's rising from it that's like almost shimmering, almost like aurora borealis kind of effect that you're seeing, just from the river here.
Fancy.
Everything around almost has like a little bit of a faint glow of like light blue teal light and energy that seems to like suffuse from it.
Interesting.
The bridge that you pass by, there's like runes that are carved under it, and you notice that nearby it there's like a pipe that is carrying almost like, it looks like dirty water, but as soon as it passes by this rune, it becomes like purified.
Oh, fancy.
So their sewage system is magically being purified.
It was proven now not.
Yeah. You notice all sorts of birds flying around, animals, critters, like squirrels running around. It's fairly lively. There's a lot of people running around. You see people practicing arcane spells and studying. There's somebody who's just sitting by the river just making a sketch. There's people who are like arguing and debating. There's like a whole, almost like an amphitheater where somebody is proclaiming a speech about the theories of...
So they're master debating.
Yeah. Somebody's arguing about how Lorien's theories are far-fetched.
Derivative.
That there is absolutely no chance that any harm could ever befall us if the glass above us was to be removed, because it would also involve the storm being removed. There's a lot of people arguing. There's this like heated debate that's kind of going on. Make a perception check for me.
I was gonna. Okay, I'll do it for that. I was waiting because I was going to say I was curious if I felt like we were being watched by anybody, but this might be a different role that you're getting me to do. 11.
Sounded like Winnie the Pooh.
Is there anyone with the "Make Silthia Great Again" hat?
Yeah. Politics are getting strong.
You do notice a few people who are. You're walking along the river. You notice a few people who are like having a heated discussion. And as you approach, they seem to quiet down and simply just like you notice one of them almost like look at you, shake his head, like, and just like motion to the other guy to like walk across the bridge, and they cross the bridge and continue on in the opposite direction.
Our group, or specifically me?
Your group.
Okay.
Was that like shake a thing of fear, or like you're seeing a mirage, or
Make an insight check for me.
23.
It seemed like they were talking about something that they wanted to keep secret.
Okay, I was asking more about the reaction that he had to.
I don't think it was anything in particular to you. It was more just people walking by.
Okay.
I don't think it was necessarily fear. I think it was just a bit of discomfort, potentially. They immediately just quieted and crossed the bridge and maybe continued on arguing about it later. But
I say very quietly, they're looking to keep their secrets, whatever it is.
Understood. We don't act too dissimilar ourselves. Try to keep our conversations quiet.
Do you guys think they have brooms at the library?
I'm not sure.
I hope so.
Have I ever heard
They
of a flying
probably
broom?
do.
I thought Shay said they
you
did.
have not heard of them up until now. You do see people in the city who are flying on brooms.
You mean like them?
Back and forth,
Just shoot
kind
them.
of above the river.
Boats.
There's at least 4 or 5 that you can make out just by traveling around. You gather that it's probably a very convenient way to travel between the walls and the tunnels. And
Seems like an impressive enchantment that they have. I'm not entirely sure why they chose brooms, but
It's probably practical.
is it?
Well,
It's more of a cleaning device.
yeah.
you do notice at this point, going in the opposite direction from the academy, actually, flying, actually it would be the same direction as you, flying towards the library, a much larger, more flatter, almost like a carpet of sorts that's just flying.
ride?
And there's
Does the
probably
carpet
4 or
ride?
5 people on top of it. There's probably 4 or 5 people sitting on top of it. One of them is standing, and he's
Oh, look at the
just wearing
Yeah.
a hat, and seems to be
See, that makes more
signaling.
No,
I mean, it must hurt to have all your weight, concentrated on a small
sense. I
stick.
agree with that.
but don't poop on my dreams, you guys. I read it in a book once, and it sounded really cool.
Perhaps you will be able to get one at some point.
Maybe today's the day.
Maybe.
A short journey later, you do find yourself in front of this fairly large structure, tall marble columns that are framing the entrance. There's a large, almost like a triangular, plaque at the top of the columns, leading into this massive building with. It's basically between the columns is just entrance into this larger hall, and the sign above it in Celestial reads. What was it?
I think I wrote it down somewhere.
To know
I did
better
too.
is
To do better,
is
one
to-
must know better.
One must know better. Yes, that is what it says. in
One must
Celestial
know
up
better.
above it.
We must control the weather. Does it appear?
Where
Oh, sorry.
is
Go
it-
ahead.
Where is that written?
It's in celestial letters, on the building, the outside of it.
On the library building?
Yeah.
You gather that looks similar to where you were headed and the artwork that was on said map.
Sorry, what did you say that says?
It says to do better, one must know better.
To do better. One.
Must know better. Does it appear to be open to the public? Does it look like people are coming and going?
People are coming and going. You notice a few people exiting carrying those large
Books?
bags of books.
Books.
Uh,
Kelthir did that.
You notice a few students kind of marching in with a large carrying, almost like a box that's currently empty, but they're maybe going to load it up with things. As you enter, there's a short lineup. There's a small desk, and behind which there's probably 2 older, one older woman and an older man who are just kind of sitting there. And there's exceptional notices. And the inside of this library is beautiful. There's bookshelves all around you. There's multiple levels to the library. The first level as you enter, there's large bookshelves, and there's pathways that kind of go in both directions. In the center of this, in the center of it, there's just a simple statue of an older male figure. wearing long flowing robes with long beard, bushy hair, and in front he's just holding out a massive book, wide open. There's all sorts of do you wait in line here? What do you
Is
do?
there a line?
There is a line. There's
Oh.
about 5 or 6 people in front of this reception desk where two
In front of the
older,
desk.
there's an older gent and an older lady who are sitting behind it. Both of them seem human.
Okay.
And the people in line are, and there's a few humans. There's maybe a half elf, a tiefling, pretty diverse crowd, mostly standing in line.
And Voro said the chambers within the library to ask for this individual.
Yes.
So I don't get the sense he meant any specific spot, just in the library.
Make a perception check.
It's gonna be an arrow that says chambers. This
Yeah. 18?
You do notice the 2 hallways that are kind of going to the left and the right. The left one, you notice a sign that says, and this sign is written in common, that just says Arcane Studies.
Okay.
The sign on the right says Mundane Studies.
Okay.
And then in the back, there's a small platform that seems to be open, and there's an opening above it. Another similar elevator of sorts. And beside it, it says Private Study Chambers.
Okay.
There are 2 guards standing in front of it. They're dressed very similarly to what Riker had been wearing. Relatively simple clothes, leather armor, the sort of islands. One of them has short, clean-cut black hair. The other one is bald.
What's up, brother?
Thank you. I'll just mention I was told to meet with an individual here in the chambers. I can see at the back there's an area towards the private study chambers, though there's some guards there, so I'm not sure if they'll give us any trouble. But perhaps we can head that way.
Or do you want to ask about this guy at the reception?
We could. I don't know who they are. I'm not sure. I hope it doesn't raise any alarm bells mentioning this individual's name. I don't know who they are.
How can we find them if we don't ask?
It's true.
They're not gonna be wearing name tags. Are they wearing name tags?
Nobody's wearing name tags.
There's no name tag.
Perhaps it's better to wait in line than to try to march into the chambers.
Because then I can also ask about flying birds.
True. We get in line.
You wait in line. The line moves fairly slowly. There's 2 or 3 people in front of you who are looking for very specific books, and they're told. The first one, they're simply told where to go. The second one in front of you, the tiefling who's standing there, he has this long book, long list, and he takes it out and he hands it to them. And they start telling him where to go, and he takes out another sigil that almost it looks like a compass rose of sorts, and he shows them that, and they begrudgingly, fine, we'll go get them for you. And then one of the 2 attendees goes and begins to fetch the books, and he leaves and goes to take the tiefling leaves and goes to sit at a bench. Probably about 10-15 minutes later, he returns with the books, hands them to him, and then it's your turn.
Okay. Just while the people were ahead of us being helped, I would 100% have eavesdropped on everything as much as I could. Would anything have caught my attention, or was it all pretty standard stuff?
It seems pretty standard. You gather that the first person who was in line was looking for some books to study for an exam at the academy. You gather that the second person had a special request from a Professor Vastrin.
Okay.
And the sigil that he showed the tiefling was essentially the sigil of this
The professor.
senior mage.
Nobody was checking out a book called How to Bring About the Fall of the Red City or something.
No, not that you could tell. The one thing you did gather is that a lot of the traffic, just passively, you're able to gather that a lot of the traffic in this library is very much tailored to the arcane section. Not many people are going into the mundane history in the library.
Yeah, that's so mundane.
Like Muggle studies.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't pick up anything too suspicious.
Mm.
You do notice as your turn is about to come, the statue in front of you that's like behind this receptionist, the page on the book in front of it turns.
Oh, it's not all like stone? Or it is stone?
It's stone.
Oh, cool.
Is that like a timer?
What's he reading?
Tusklove.
Probably.
The older gentleman who's like sitting there looks up at you. Yes, how may I help you?
Hello. I was hoping you could help me. I'm looking to meet an individual here. Wondering if you've seen them come through. The name
Daniel.
is Fainwell?
That old coot. I can go get him for you. Yeah.
You could also just tell me where to meet him. And don't
Oh,
wanna bother you.
he's probably studying in one of the chambers. We don't necessarily allow people access there without an escorted guard. And he would have to say that he's okay with people attending and interrupting his studies.
Oh.
If we can go and fetch him and see if you are expected, and then maybe let you up. But
Sure.
I'll send someone up.
Do you want to mention the name Volvo?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just let him know that Volro sent us.
Okay.
He pulls up his gun.
Did he react to me saying that name at all?
Make an insight check.
His eye like twitched and insight, right? 21.
There was no reaction.
Sick.
He's pretty used to just people saying they're being sent by people
That
all the
makes
time.
sense. Literally, somebody just in front of me did that. So
Yeah.
I just didn't have a thing to flash. I was like, Volro sent me. That was his symbol he showed you. Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah.
Just while we're waiting on them to come up, my name is Astra. You can call me Astra Maris. I have this unique ability where I can actually read all writing. So I wanted to offer your library, if you have any old books or anything that you need help with translation, I'm happy to help translate those for you in exchange for a flying broom.
Exchange for one flying broom.
Yes.
He looks at you and tilts his head. I'm sure we could use your services. We don't necessarily have any flying brooms. Those are usually... The Academy has a fleet. Or you can potentially look to purchase one.
Do you know what they go for?
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
Once you unlock your
hang
iPhone,
What the hell? Why, Siri, come on now. Stop interfering.
You're not there, Steve.
I mean, I don't think they're that expensive, to be honest.
40,000 platinum.
No, I think you can get one for like 500 gold. It's not
Oh, we could all
very
get a
expensive.
fleet of flying brooms?
Okay.
There you go.
Are they uncomfortable to
Money,
ride though?
please.
I don't normally.
We're gonna
It
come
does
back
take
with
a
two
certain-
brooms and
Yeah.
float over her and be like, they were supposed to meet us here. Astra.
It does take a certain amount of constitution to bear the, I'm sure you can imagine it being not entirely comfortable, but they are also enchanted magical objects.
They're
So
All right. If I may ask, sir, would you guys have any books on the red lightning storms, and would that be mundane or arcane?
that's a very interesting question. There will certainly be books in both of those sections related to the storms above, but I think they would lean more towards the arcane.
Is there anybody that I could talk to ask a few questions?
There's a few people who I could recommend you to. Obviously, it really depends on. We tend to have more specific studies. I don't know if there's any professors at the academy who are currently specializing in this, but I know Professor Fainwell, as your companion mentioned, he has some level of interest in that field. Professor Vassarin as well, Professor Dritar.
Vassarin, Dracaris,
Dritar.
Dre what?
Dritar.
Like TH?
Yes.
What was the name of yours again?
Oh, Fainwell?
Fainwell, Vassarin.
Fainwell. I put IL.
Is any of them?
There's a new research team that's also being put together by an apprentice named Farron, who also is hoping to get some study. I believe that is her area of her major. I believe she's taking inspiration from some of the books that she retrieved from here actually recently, which might be why we don't have that many books available on that topic right now. There's their research crew has recently checked out a lot of them.
And these other than Fenwell, these other professors and the apprentice, are they here or are they at the?
They tend to go back and forth. Essentially, in a lot of ways, what will end up happening is that they will work at the academy teaching, but then most of their research materials in order to study, in order to actually work on what they're attempting to, the breakthroughs that they're attempting to do, they will come here on most days where they are not teaching at the academy.
All right.
Almost all of the professors have private chambers up above.
I was wondering real quick as well, do you have the book In Search of the Watcher? Written by Anonymous?
I can take a look.
Anonymous?
Sorry, Anonymous?
Anonymous.
That's strange. I do see here in our records, and he's pulled out this ledger that's just like magically turning the pages and it stops, and he like starts moving his finger down the list. In Search of the Watcher. I do see that we had one copy, but it seems to be lost. Don't know what happened to it. Seem to have misplaced it.
That's unfortunate. Okay.
Was that at Shay's place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
That's the one that-
stole it.
I can't remember. Do I still have that book? I don't
No.
remember.
Hoku disappeared with it.
Oh, that's okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's when the Hasper was like, "Step away from that book."
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
At this point, one of the aide that he sent up to fetch Fainwell has returned. And Professor Fainwell wasn't expecting any visitors, but at the name of your friend, or who sent you, he said to Grand Ash, says, "Please come with me."
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
He leads you. He's like a small, probably teenage boy with like bushy brown hair. He leads you up to the elevator, mentions to the guards, and then steps onto the elevator. You follow, and the elevator begins to rise. And as it rises,
It's even slower than the gondola.
as it rises and it arrives at the second level, you notice that all of the surroundings of it are just plain dark black stone. And you don't see anything.
Okay.
And you notice that the floor begins to spin. And you all of a sudden have no idea which way you're facing.
Astra's nauseous.
You do get kind of nauseous. And then the elevator continues going up.
How
and it
fast
starts
is
spinning
it?
in the opposite
Wait,
direction.
how fast is it spinning?
Not super fast.
I am trying to maintain a sense of direction while doing this.
Make an intelligence check.
Astra's
Just straight
now
intelligence
green.
check?
Yeah.
15.
You have a pretty solid idea of the fact that you're facing kind of northward after the first one stops spinning and then moves up. And then you're facing westward after the second one stops moving and moves up. And then a door opens up towards like your left.
Okay.
So it's mostly south. And then there's just a hallway with like closed doors on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
and he leads you down this hallway to another elevator that then goes up another 2 levels.
I am going to try to pull out a small. That's it. I'm going to try to pull it out.
He does not succeed.
I heard it was effective. Pull out a small journal and just try to really quickly write down these directions that I think it might be.
Okay.
I don't know if you feel like it's important enough for me to actually write those directions you
It's
just
really
told
not.
me. Okay. In
There are a lot of chambers here, and most of them are closed. As you walk past one of them, there is one with like the door is partially open, and you just see like candlelight coming out from inside. There's just an old man just like huddled over a book, just like reading.
Right. In Kelther's mind, like, he's being taken somewhere he's never been before, and clearly something is happening to try to obfuscate where exactly we're going, and he does not like that.
Yeah.
So he wants to try to get a sense of where we're going, such that if we needed to travel this again, he would theoretically know if we're not going
Being
the same
misled.
way. Yeah.
But you do realize that you end up on the 4th floor.
Okay.
And you end up roughly near the southern end of the building. And that's where the elevator kind of lets you out, and there's a door that's just open to your immediate left. The aide like knocks gently on the door and pushes it open, and in front of you there's just a table with a ton of just notes and maps and everything scattered across it. You notice books piled up on either side. There's a bookshelf that actually is full of maybe half a dozen books, and like some of them are tipped over. A couple of them are opened. It's clear that whoever's been studying here has been going through a bunch of these. And standing behind the desk is a very short gnome who is standing on top of a stool and is studying this, like in the middle of reading a very... Make a perception check for me.
Oh, it does. A quick question, DM. Did I noticed a sign for
Finally.
Vasari, Drothar, or Faran?
There are
in
no
the hallways?
signs in the hallway.
No signs? Okay, got it.
What did you roll?
That's 20 for 28. I know the book in and out.
In fact, I wrote
You
it.
actually do know the book.
Creating life.
It is Creating Life.
Ah.
And you immediately recognize that is the specific book that he's reading, because you recognize the page that he's on as being very key to the code that you had previously deciphered.
Interesting.
Professor Fainwell is a small gnome with the gray hair that's like curly and wisps and goes down past his ears. He's wearing these long, almost like tattered brown robes that seem like he hasn't really taken a bath in a very long time. This room is just disheveled and covered with books and papers all over. He's got these like spectacles on that he's like pulls off and like wipes and looks up at you. So Walrose and Jewel, are you also studying the figure that he's chasing? Yes.
Did the person who led us here, are they gone now?
Yeah, they.
Oh, okay. Perhaps, Volro, I was...
This is all very secret business. If you know Wildro, can I trust you?
Yes.
Make a persuasion check.
Can I not just gesture at myself and be like, come on?
You do look like him. You know him.
Yes, quite well.
Strange fellow. Very intense.
That is correct. So he wasn't able to give me all the details of what exactly he was doing, but he did instruct me to come here and meet with you to get more details on...
Yeah. I believe he's planning to perform some sort of very poorly advised raid on some sort of ancient ruin compound. I believe it's in the West Wall.
Yes.
There's these strange figures that he's been on the trail of, and he believes that they're based out of this smoking lounge of sorts within the West Wall.
Smoking lounge.
Ancient ruins,
are you-
West Wall.
Are you familiar with these individuals that he is tracking?
Yes, I believe, well, I believe one of them was a very ancient figure that has recently reappeared in our histories and is seemingly here in the city right now, and that is why we are trying to keep a low profile, and that is who he is hoping to encounter in his delving into this structure.
Does this individual have a name?
It does. I believe he goes by the name of Karis Merriman.
He's in Silthia? Fucking.
I believe he's from here, okay, or has frequented here frequently. And I believe the figure that Volro is after is this individual. Are you familiar with him? He's quite an evil figure.
I know little about him, but I am familiar. Sorry, how did you happen across Volro? How are you connected to this?
You see, I've been studying something.
Can't go wrong.
And what
with
I've been
Crazy
studying
Town.
is that there's been a plot. There's a plot to destroy the city, but nobody believes me. I don't think you understand quite how much risk we are under. I believe that this figure, this Karis Merriman, has been working in secret to destroy that which protects us from the lightning storms up above.
Does the name the Red Home mean anything to you?
Do you mean Red Home?
Is that not what I just said?
Not the Red Home. Red Home.
Redham.
Oh,
Red Home.
sure. Yeah, aye.
It used to be a city, almost like a fortress of sorts, far south from here. In the southeast, it was destroyed a long time ago.
Lore.
How's that spelled?
Redholm.
Home.
Rattle.
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 Wrong.
So how far south?
Southeast of here. It's the location of the Blighted Scar now, or I believe that's what it's called. Used to be on the very edge on the coast, and then was simply destroyed. It was a Rexate, a small Rexate, a long time ago.
So is it not there anymore?
No.
Well,
So about this Karis, I don't know how, but he's been around for centuries, and he's had some sort of influence in this city in particular. It seems like he has a web of underground figures and forces that are embedded deep within the city, and nobody believes me when I tell them that really he's the one who's in control of all of us. All of us!
I can't speak to the last part there, but it may mean to let you know that I do believe that you are correct, that Karis is somehow a part of some plan to...
I knew it! Do you have any proof?
Not exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's what we thought, and that's what Wolro is doing. He's hoping to raid this establishment and
He's
collect
trying-
us some proof.
Is he alone?
Yes.
Is he trying to kill Keras by himself?
I don't think so. I believe it was more of a get in, get the proof, and get out type of mission.
That sounds like him.
Is your friend particularly skilled with that kind of...
Exceptionally.
But we have heard word that the man himself is here, and that's why we have had to accelerate the urgency on our end in terms of retrieving any potential proof that we might have, that we might be able to take to the Prismatic Council and tell them to take action.
How did you or Volro come across this smoking lounge or this ancient ruins?
The lounge was Wolro's investigation. He believed that he had found evidence connecting this Karis figure to a web of almost the seedier underbelly of the west wall. And he tracked it down to the Dark Regret as being a potential spot for Karis' base of operations. I don't know how but he mentioned something about Karis, and I just assumed that there was some sort of strange vendetta. But he's been on the hunt for this figure. And I do not know of Karis, but I've heard his name being whispered in secrets and in my own investigations, in books such as this, in some of the other works that have been labeled as anonymous, and old, strange, similar patterns of writing across a series of them.
And are you aware of what exactly he's trying to find on this?
Wolra?
Yes.
Some sort of proof that connects Karis with this plot to destroy the
Is
city.
there something specific he's looking for, or he's hoping that he will find proof when he goes there?
I think it's more of the latter. Make an insight check.
Okay.
This is Karis.
Oh, my boy.
Another one?
2 and a 3.
Oh.
11.
Used all that power on the book.
You gather that Professor Vainville also doesn't know as much about the details as, like, maybe perhaps you or maybe perhaps Wolro does. Wolro might have kept him more in the dark than you would think.
A moment, please. Perhaps if you would like to speak with the professor, I'll just need a moment. And I'll just go to the other side of the room.
Are you alright?
Yes. I need to try reaching out to Volro again.
Fainwell?
Yeah.
The books that
Professor Lorian Fainwell.
Oh, my apologies, Professor Lawrence. The books that you're reading there, you mentioned like the anonymous writer. Do you have any suspicions of who that might be?
I suspect that it is the Karis figure himself.
Oh, you think he wrote Creating Life?
That is my assumption, yes.
Have
Though
you-
there are certain parts where the writing patterns have shifted rather drastically. Perhaps it was more of a... In fact, it's actually noticeable as he pulls out another book and like flips it open. This one on its cover just says... What was the name of that place? The Battle of Kragdu. You notice this one. The writing patterns in this book are very similar until the Creating Life reaches a certain point, and then it flips. And similarly, in this other book, it seems that it reaches a certain point, and then the writing pattern seems to change. While the writing, the scripting, looks very identical, but it's clearly not written by the same author. But I don't know who would have written this. And the same pattern seems to follow across all of the books that are bound the same way, that are written with the same anonymous label. Perhaps it was a conclave, perhaps it was a group of writers who all got together under one pseudonym in order to perform this great work of literary subterfuge. You can see he's very excited.
Huh. Wow. Well, I've experienced something similar in the book, The Search of the Watcher. Have you heard of this book?
I don't think I've heard of that book, but I do remember that phrase being mentioned in a couple of places. And he begins to dig through, and he finds another book that just says,
Clement.
Sorry. You thought you talked about cooking.
Yeah. Kelther's gonna do it. I can do it.
Really?
1 second, I'm just writing down stuff so that I remember it. He pulls out another book, and this one just says, the title is just In the Shadow of the Storm. It is also written by Anonymous. He mentioned, and remember that phrase from one of the chapters in this book. He begins to flip through and look for that specific page. You can come back to that.
Okay.
You were sending.
I'm going to send another message to Balram.
What the fuck, man?
1 sec. I'm going to say, I know you're looking for Karis. Don't do this. It's dangerous. We should discuss it.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, he's already there.
I'm not good at those.
That's a DC 15.
Definitely not.
What did you roll?
Oh no, Bolo's dead.
A 7.
Bolro's already dead.
Yeah. Karis will reply.
You get a response back that just says, I know exactly where he is. I can face him. I can end this. We can all be safe
Stupid
back
boy.
home.
Where you from? There, Kathy? Where's back home?
Cool. I get to send another message. Karis is changed. He's not like us. He cannot be killed. I have proof.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
You fucking dice.
DC 15 still. Actually, I'll lower it to a 14 because your argument was sound.
Come on.
Even
10.
It's okay.
The reply you get back is just, damn it.
Janet.
Listen to your elders. I know what I'm doing. I will be in touch once I know more. I'm going in.
Oh, you stupid beach.
Walls of this room, what are they?
Wood mostly.
Cool.
Wooden bookshelves and stuff like
I punch the wall.
that. You both just see Calder just like angrily punch a wall.
Ow.
Emotion lately.
Out here? Are you alright?
Yeah, I slipped.
He's
I
just
don't
there.
need to roll an insight check on the.
Yeah,
You don't need to. You kind of tell.
How
Yeah.
does Fenwill
It adds
react?
up.
Just looking through the book. He's completely engrossed with the book right now.
Engrossed with the book.
Trouble
They-
with
they
Mrs.
need-
Kelpier?
Help?
We can discuss it after.
Alright.
Finwell, that book that you were reading, Creating Life.
Yes.
Can I see it for a moment?
Oh, certainly. He like pushes it out in front of you.
I flip to where I know
Mhm.
things are changed. Is it the same in this one?
Yep.
Because there was another one I saw where it wasn't,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Okay. And it is identical?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned there was another book with similar change of writing. Could I see that one as well? Could you point out where it changes?
Yeah, there are 3 of them, and he gestures to the Battle of Cragdoom that he's reading, and the Shadow of the Storm that he's like pulled out in order to show Astra. So he points out the 3 of them. The Battle of Cragdoom starts in the same sort of like strange, like sea-based sort of like
Clanko-y?
clanko-y writing style that you've previously encountered. But at a certain point begins to shift into more of a elegant, more of a flowing writing. That's not similar at all to what Creating Life was.
Okay.
Which that style then carries on into the Shadow of the Storm, where the Shadow of the Storm towards the end becomes more of that practical, militaristic, that mindset of the first book that you remember. Almost like it's like shifting
Okay.
between three very specific writing styles.
I see. Looking at them at a quick glance, can I, using the kind of decoding pattern
Yeah.
that I had figured out from the first book, is there a similar pattern that I can identify with these ones? Or do I get the sense that I would have to spend time to try to figure that out? Like if I was trying to apply the same sort of thing.
You would probably have to spend some time to dedicate to the study of these books in order to find the specific pages that are important. Because if you remember, even in the first time when you were reading the book, it took you a little bit of study to figure out which pages and paragraphs were
Right.
important, and then you were able to stitch those together into like particular phases.
Mm-hmm.
There's just way too much in these three
Right.
books in order for you to gather all that information.
Have you found anything in these books other than the changing of writing style?
That's the part. That's the part that leads me to believe that there's something secret hidden within these books still. There are certain paragraphs and certain phrases where if I connect certain words together and spend my time studying, they always form the same phrase. May the eye of the storm watch over you. Across all of these books. All of them! I see you are a man of intense curiosity. I see that you follow the same line of thinking that I do. Perhaps we can work together to save our city.
Your city.
He's got this like crazy look in his eyes.
Yeah.
Don't say.
He's Charlie Day with
Yeah.
the board.
Basically.
That phrase that you said does not surprise me. I have seen it before. Yes. Decoded it from a book very similar to these ones that you have here. It would appear that the authors were communicating a message hidden within the text.
Strange.
Do you have any sense of who wrote these?
I assume Karis. Perhaps he's been writing with different personas through time.
Were you able to get anything else out of the text, or just that phrase?
That's been the only thing I've been able to connect so far.
So one book is about a battle, another book is about creating life, and the other book is about the shadow of a storm.
The Shadow of the Storm was a different book, though, right?
No,
That-
it's
That's
those
the
three.
one that had.
Oh,
the
okay.
notebook
Sorry, I thought that was
instructs
just the
the
one she was
watcher.
asking about.
No,
I didn't realize.
those are
this.
all three of them are by the same, like,
Mm.
they're bound the same way, they have the same anonymous author.
What do they talk about?
They seem like memoirs of Karis' life. But the writing style in them seems to change. Perhaps he used different ghostwriters or something. Perhaps they were literal ghosts. That's a good idea. I'm gonna write it down.
But they're all like they're all set in the past and they narrate some events.
Seems like it.
All right. If you don't mind me asking a couple of questions, have you ever heard about? Sorry. How much do you know about the red storms, the red lightning storms?
Bits and pieces. I've been studying them more intensely recently. If something is to happen to the city, that is probably the most prevalent source of danger to us.
Do you know of anybody that have gone into the storm and come back out?
Oh yeah, lots of people. You have to in order to leave the city. Anywhere that you're going, you end up traveling at least towards the edge of it. But not when the storm is like active. There's a few times where it's active and we close the gates
But
for
when
that.
the storm is active, do you know or heard of anybody that have gone into a storm and come back?
I mean, I'm sure people do, but I don't personally know of any of them.
No. Have you ever heard about Rift or Rift Walkers?
No, can't say I have. Name doesn't ring a bell.
Another dead end. I'm gonna ask you one more question. Two
Yeah.
names, if you ever heard of them.
Mhm.
Theodore Constantine.
Gonna give him Huh. Yeah, he's a very smart fellow. He was a student who was here from Icefall, I believe, in an exchange program of sorts. He studied at the academy. I think he graduated a few years ago. He was more on the battle mage side of studies, more on the athletic side, and perhaps not as much on the bookish side, but
You said he came from Icefall?
he did.
Do we know he came from Icefall?
Who?
Nope.
Teddy?
I don't think we did.
We knew Tisha did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we knew.
Well,
We knew.
That's what I mean.
We don't know.
We knew.
Yeah.
But he graduated a few years back. I don't know what he's up to these days. I believe he graduated with pretty good grades.
Was there a particular professor that was his tutor? Or mentor? Or
I believe there was one. I think her name was Professor Garnett.
What
Oh,
the
no.
fuck?
Cool.
oh, very interesting.
Good questioning.
It was actually a very good question.
And is this professor still around? Is there anywhere we
Oh,
can
I don't
find
think
him?
so. I think she, I believe she left and moved to some other rec site. I believe there was a rec site that was looking for an expert in her
Son
field.
of a
and
bitch.
she moved there a few
Probably
years
like
back.
schema or something.
Looking for what?
Someone in her field. I don't know of her. I just know that she was a very influential professor here at the university, at the academy. But she left a few years ago.
I see. That's very helpful. And another name. Does the name Shay ring any bells to you? I don't know a last name.
Shade vampire?
No.
It seems like a fairly common name. It doesn't specifically ring a bell to me.
No,
I know at least 3 Shays in the city.
anyone that was a particularly bright student.
The big one.
Do we not know her last name?
No, I just
You
know it's
definitely
Shay.
do.
Whose
yeah,
last
I
name?
thought we did. Shays.
She was, but you know that she was top of the class at St. Crawford.
You know her full name. It was Shayura Caladoon. Like Caladoon Manor was the name of
Oh,
the place
yeah.
that she lived at.
But where? I feel like I would have written that down.
But I don't know if you would, like, if Timon would know
Let's
that.
say the
but
Timon.
Oh,
didn't
Caladoon
remember.
Manor.
doesn't
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
have
have
that.
Paladin.
Let's say the Timon didn't
Timon
remember.
probably might not have remembered it because he was scared the fuck
I
out of her.
just remember Shay.
Shay vampire, I'm pretty sure.
Vampire? Those aren't very common at all. Um,
From Caladoon Manor?
oh, Caladoon. That name does sound familiar. Oh, yes, I think I remember her. She was a very, very bright and talented student, but I believe she fell in with some unsavory sorts. I believe she
You might say that.
passed away. I believe they found her dead body wasted in the river.
I think that's right. Yes.
Oh,
Was it
are
sad?
there any accounts of that? Anywhere that we can find?
I don't know. This must have been years ago, so I just remember the name. I remember almost like body of Caladoon prodigy found. Potentially.
Records like that, would that be here at the library or
No,
somewhere else?
all of that would be at the academy. The academy is also the seat of like political power within the city.
I understand. Thank you, Professor.
Across any of your studies, have you heard the name Kazmarath?
No, I don't think I have. You're fairly confident that he is telling you the truth with your passive insight.
So it's clear talk. But through discussion about, I guess earlier about Karis and stuff, did we find anyone that was knowledgeable about demons and devils? That was just something I have in my notes from the Syncrophic
You can
Academy.
ask Lady Garnett.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
Am I
Professor
still-
Gardner.
Yeah, sorry.
Am I still within range of everyone?
Hey, ask
I
about
think you
the...
probably would be. To be honest, like a mile is a very long distance.
Because then I could just, I mean, like, just recalling. But, I'll reach out to the three of you, but something just came to my mind. I think I do remember Shay mentioning that it would be helpful for us to find someone knowledgeable about demons and devils.
What are the odds you're thinking of Shay right now?
I'm thinking of the Synchronic.
Yeah.
That's for later. 'Cause you,
Yeah, perhaps we can find books on it. Is there anything else you can think of that may be valuable in assisting Volro in his efforts?
If Karis has been around for as long as we assume, because we've been reading these books of his, there must be something. There must be something of his that is some sort of incriminating information somewhere where he might have slipped up. If he can just get proof that what he's doing, what he's planning, is would pose a serious threat to the city, I'm sure the Prismatic Council would jump at any opportunity to prove their worth to the city, especially nowadays, as there's been murmurings and whispers of whether they are truly capable enough to protect us from the storm. There's the sense of unrest, particularly among the denizens of the West Wall, who have been besieged by strange monsters climbing up out of the tunnels, killing indiscriminately. The West Wall is quite dangerous, and that's why when Volro mentioned that he would be going there, I told him to be quite careful.
Well, thank you for all your help and information. In the chance that Volro returns here, let him know to reach out to me, please. My name is Silthia.
Will do. Just like writes down out there on one of the notes and slides it to the side, probably never to be found again. But he will remember it. I'm going to continue reading and see if I can find any more clues in here. If I find something, I will reach out to you as well. If I find any further proof about Karis' doing. But the smoke lounge that Wolro said, he had it on good authority that this Karis fellow frequented there whenever he was in town. So that was why he was going there, in order to see if there was potentially any contacts, anybody over there that might have known or heard of Karis this time, or at this time.
Sorry, player question. Did he say that the smoking lounge was the Dark Regret?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
That is good to know. Thank you.
Hopefully we're able to work together to save my city.
Yes. Let's hope that we can save the city.
No, carry on. And he gets back to reading the book. As you all step out of the room, is there any quick conversation you want to have before we switch over to the other half of the party?
First, when we leave the room, is that person or other people there meant to take us back, or are we kind of on our own now to go back?
You're
to
kind of
everything?
on your own, but there is like the elevator that you would come up on is standing there.
Let's loot every other room. No. Okay. I guess as we're heading back, I'll just let these two know, as I'm still recuperating from my damaged hand.
What happened?
It appears Volro is trying to find evidence of Karis's doings here in the city, and maybe trying to confront him head on.
By himself?
Yes.
Oh, he's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, he's a dead man.
Let's hope that does not happen.
How strong is your friend?
He is a very capable individual, but I don't think he knows what he's going up against.
Didn't you try to stop him or something?
No, I tried nothing. I tried, but he's a very strong-willed individual.
Did you tell him you punched a wall?
I did not communicate that to him, no. I guess, yeah, carry on. Potentially try to find books as other stuff is happening. Yeah.
You step onto, like, this hallway, basically all the other doors are closed. The only way out is that elevator, and as you step on it, the elevator simply descends straight down. You don't have to switch between multiple different elevators, and it ends up depositing you in a chamber
Crazy
on the
magic
ground floor.
elevators.
As you exit from there, you're in the mundane section of the library. As you wander around here, that's a good spot to switch over to the other folks. Arkmir and the big one.
Hi.
What are you guys up to? How's it going?
I'm in a strip club somewhere.
Yep.
There's at least 4 of them.
Yeah.
The academy students need to pay their tuition fees somehow.
College
Wow.
girl. College girls. Gotta love the college girls.
No, you head off in the opposite direction of where your friends had kind of headed, and you very quickly wind your way through these parks. There's a few parks that are all connected together, and they all seem to have this theme among them of animal figures and statues. You see a large chimpanzee statue that's just like hanging from a tree that's glowing. You see a slightly smaller statue of a tall flightless bird that looks kind of like an overblown chicken. And then you eventually circle around and you find a statue or a fountain shaped like a fish that's just like jumping out of the water.
Is it a fish or a dolphin?
It's a large fish that may or may not be a dolphin. Dolphins aren't real.
You heard it here first.
This clearly isn't a dolphin. We should keep looking.
But yes, it is a dolphin. And you've seen underneath each of these statues as you walk past almost like plaques denoting which of these, which small parklet these are within the parks.
Is
and this
this
one does say on
Brookfish
Brookfish
Park?
Brookfish
It seems like we're in the right area.
All around you, there's several buildings, and this entire neighborhood seems very posh. You notice people walking around carrying strange umbrellas that are all glowing and have like feathers flying off of them that seem to fade away as they would land onto the ground. You notice a few dresses that are just being dragged along with their wearers. They're walking along the grass. There's just like slowly, almost like lighting the grass on fire behind them. But as the fire fades away, there's like as though nothing happened. It's almost like small illusions of flame.
There's people just walking by us. with these
There's a
fancy
lot of
things.
very fancily dressed people walking around, sitting. There's a few people who are just sitting on like a picnic blanket of sorts, where there's this fountain of cheese that just seems to be constantly flowing.
Cheese.
Yeah, fondue.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna
They're sticking like pieces of fruit into this fountain and eating fruit.
Fruit and cheese?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Okay.
Magic fruit and magic cheese.
Okay.
So, we're gonna get there soon. I think it's best if you do the talking. I'm going to try my best to scope out the area while we're conversing. I don't mean rummaging around and walking around, but trying to get a layout, and then I can, perhaps, with the help of Astra, create some sort of plan for the building. keep an eye out for scuff marks on the ground, secret doors, things like that.
As you wind the corner here of this park, there's a lot of buildings that are kind of spread out around here. There's a couple of buildings. There's a couple of shops that are labeled pretty clearly as like Enchanter. There's one shop which has like a small vial, like a potion bottle on it. There's a few enchanting sort of like shops and stores located here. But your eyes very clearly gravitate towards the largest building in this entire park, near the edge of it. And it's not even a singular building. It is almost like a lodge of sorts that seems to span fairly wide and is almost like curved inwards.
Cool.
And there's just a large, ornately carved gold sign on top of it that just says the Gilded Oasis.
Think that's it?
Like two
Definitely not.
dark mahogany wooden columns that like frame the entrance way into it, and standing just beside the door to the right is a very large, almost 10-foot tall automaton.
Oh shit.
What?
Automaton.
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 It's a robot.
A robot.
Okay.
A construct made of metal and stone.
You played an automaton before.
You also saw hundreds of them in Schema.
There were a lot of them in Schema, but this is one of the larger ones that you've seen.
Do I clock it as being electro steel?
It is definitely not made of electricity.
Interesting.
It is stone and like steel, but not electro steel.
Stone and steel, but not electro steel.
No.
Okay. What part of it's stone?
It's a dog.
Yeah.
It's almost like the larger chunks of its like
Sorry.
muscles are made of stone. So like the
Can't say
the
something
arms,
better.
the legs, the torso. But there are like bands of silvery steel that are kind of like connecting it together.
I
Cool.
see.
There's like arcane runes carved across all of the stones. Seems fairly intricately made. It's just standing there.
Shall we go inside?
Yeah.
So, tell me when I need to roll. Might not even need to roll, but I am trying to clock any extra entrances, any windows. I'm trying to map out this place like I would be doing my schematics back home.
There's a lot of windows. There's at least 3 or 4 windows just here on the front wall, and it's almost like a curving outwards building.
Okay.
But there's one main entrance. You don't see any other doors. But as you approach, the automaton kind of raises up its arm and blocks the door.
Yeah, that's exactly what
It's like blocks the door in front of you as you're walking this way. It's just like blocks the door in front of you, and like tilts its head down and looks at you. Who are you?
Lady Garnett requested my presence.
Ah, the foreign dignitary from Schema. Very well, we will let her know. Please wait in the lounge. And he lifts his arm up and allows you entrance into it. And you enter into a fairly small, very intricately decorated, sort of like lavish red carpet, couches and sitting armchairs and stuff scattered about. It's basically a hotel lobby. There's a small reception desk at the end of it, but there's nobody there. As you walk in, there's a few people milling about, but nobody seems to pay too much attention to you. I think a couple of very fancily dressed individuals, one male, one female. Both of them are wearing these long, flowing, black robes. They enter from one of the entrances, look at you, and kind of snobbily put their nose up and continue walking, trying to ignore you. You hear them talking about how the standards of this establishment have certainly dropped as they walk past.
Should have a big mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How wealthy do they look?
Very wealthy.
Yeah.
But they seem to walk past you without paying too much attention as you stand around here. What would you like to do?
I'm just mapping everything in my head.
Yeah. We're just being asked to wait in the lobby, right?
Yep.
Where did those 2 people walk off to? Just
So they walked off to the right. So you're in this like long rectangular room, essentially. There's 2 doors at the edge of it. There's a reception desk almost like in front of you, and there's 2 doors beside it that lead like further in.
Right.
All of those doors are closed right now. So you're mostly just in this like T-shaped, like rectangular lobby, where the entrance was where you came in from. There's like chairs and tables scattered about. There's like reading materials on the tables. It very much is just like a hotel lobby.
Gotcha.
But you do notice a few things. There is no seemingly security. There is no seemingly people working here. There is no seemingly anything except for places to sit.
Wait, but there's a reception desk?
There's a reception desk.
No one behind it?
No one behind it.
Oh.
Seemingly.
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, I'll take those. I'll wait here. Big one, if you want to roam around.
Yes, I'm just gonna look at all of the books. You're gonna see the big one like slowly like 1 foot, 2 foot. I'm gonna count how long it is from one end to the other one.
I'm like checking. Do we still have connection?
Yeah.
Second whispers. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It isn't long until one of the doors in front of you opens.
10 paces wide.
And a figure enters. They're seemingly dressed in like a finely tailored black suit with a tie. They seem half elven. They've got slightly pointed ears, slicked back black hair. They approach and visitors of the esteemed lady from Schema. Yes.
Correct.
Do you have some slightly more presentable attire?
No, do you?
Sorry.
I'm certain some can be arranged for you. We would not want to inconvenience some of the guests as we will be walking through the oasis in order to arrive at a private suite. Please come with me. And he begins to walk out the door towards the left.
You follow?
Walking out to the left, you see a small, almost like a small shop, like table, where he walks up and says, Francis, we would need some rental attire for these 2 fine gentlemen here. And you notice this old man just like look out at you. You I can do.
I'm okay anyway, thanks.
No, let's try it.
Okay. And he begins to just cast some magical spells back there to prepare finely tailored black suits for both.
Okay, I'm in.
Call ourselves,
Sick.
call ourselves the Men in Black.
Sure, I'm in. You told me already.
The name's one. Big one.
And
Drinking an
yes,
apple
about
martini.
about 5-10 minutes later, you receive these finely tailored black.
Is there any other things about this room? Any other doors, exits?
So where you've entered through this door to the
door,
left, there's a few small. It seems like this might be where the facilities of
Gotcha.
this place are. So there's an entrance towards like a kitchen area. There's an entrance towards this like seamster's sort of booth. There's an entrance towards the arcane laundry.
Gotcha.
All sorts of like facilities that
Sure.
people
Yep.
would need in order to run this establishment. But you receive these finely tailored black suits and ties.
Have
And
a pocket inside.
there's a changing room right here, and he points you towards a small, very cramped closet for you, where you can change into this attire.
I should change on the spot.
With the 2 of you having changed into this, as you exit, he's not. Yes, then that's entirely more presentable. Please follow me. And he begins to lead you.
Still have my goggles on my head, by the way.
That's fine. I think your arm is also slightly awkward in
fine,
this
yeah.
in general.
It's probably ripped a couple times.
Yeah. But you look fairly dapper.
Hell yeah.
You stuff your own clothes into your backpacks or whatever and continue on. And he takes you back through the door that he'd come in from And after a short hallway, you actually emerge out into essentially an outdoor courtyard. There's a large pool of water that just like spans the middle of this. It's almost like a pond, a little larger than a pond, a little smaller than a lake. That kind of spreads out over here, and you can see people dancing in it, swimming in it, lazing around in it, lazing around beside it. You notice people walking around with drinks, everybody wearing suits, several people in various state of revealing clothing.
Let's go.
Several people in.
Yeah.
You notice that this is definitely a very, very fancy establishment. You notice people throwing around platinum coins as tips to the waiters. It is definitely above your societal status.
Is everyone wearing black here?
Most of the people are, except for the people who are obviously partaking in this hotel. Some of the people who are in the swimming pool are perhaps not. Some of the people who are lounging about, you notice it requires a certain level of like status in order to be wearing colors at this establishment. You notice that the people who are wearing colors are also wearing fancy jewelry.
Gotcha.
They're also wearing like the ones throwing around the most coin here. Almost everybody who is working here is wearing black in some way, shape, or form. You continue to go sort of counterclockwise around this, and you notice that essentially around this oasis there are several sort of like pathways that branch off and form these small enclosed like almost like cabins or cottages. So these are like individual suites of sorts, and after a little bit of walking, you eventually find yourself at suite number 52.
Now, I'm also keeping my nose peeled for any smells of blood or maybe decay or anything like that.
I don't think you smell anything of that sort.
Just as we go along.
Semen.
Yes. Sweet which number?
Everywhere. Very
The ceiling.
There's this soft music that's kind of playing through here that seems to be almost like lulling you into this sense of calm, so to speak. I would like both of you to make wisdom saving throws.
Ooh, I have advantage. Is this charm?
Saving throw.
No, it is not.
Reminds me of another lounge.
Arknir loves wisdom.
He's not very wisdomous.
At least a 17. I don't know if I.
Hey, that's what I got. 17.
That's good enough. You're able to keep your senses fairly sharp and not let this kind of pass over you. And as you approach this building, this suite, and each of these are individual cabins, and this is one of the larger, more ornate, almost 2-floor tall cabins. And the door opens, and the figure steps out, shirtless.
Let's go.
Hello.
A red tiefling. He is wearing long black pants, loose, tied at the waistband with
Does
like.
it look like him?
It looks almost exactly like
Yeah.
Arknir.
So
Salver.
Yeah, it's fucked by number one.
Number 2.
Number two just arrived.
I am number 1.
He
Let's be right.
he looks at you and you nods. Surprisingly fewer of you than we expected. Come, please enter. Please make yourself at home.
That's the background.
You hear
noise
that in the back, yes.
Somebody's fucking in Suite 51.
I must say, I'm sure my lady is quite disappointed that your companion didn't choose to join us, but I'm actually quite pleased.
Which companion?
Oh, the bald one. Please come in. Come in.
Well, that could be either.
It's got a little.
Be technically I'm bald as well, so.
As you enter in, you find yourself in a sitting chamber. It's fairly large. There's a few couches. There's a few cushions that are kind of just scattered around the floor. There's like a. It goes on further in, and there's a balcony up above. And standing on the balcony,
Naked.
not naked, wearing a long, flowing black robe with a deep V-neck cut, dark red skin,
He's the big one.
Turns around.
Yeah, how did you get up
What
there?
the?
And just like holding a glass of wine, and she's just like sipping it. Ah, surely took you long enough. You arrived at the city last night.
This place is a maze.
Yes, especially if you're traveling through the tunnels themselves. Tell me, Arkmir, how have you been?
Well, better now.
I can see that.
Big one forgot the
Standing
mission.
fully erect.
Standing on my third leg.
Just balancing sideways.
Both of you notice Salvir behind you closes the door and locks it.
Uh-oh.
I'm scared.
It's
now.
about to get freaky.
I pull out my pocket square.
Is he in the room with them? I'm not there.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
Salvir is in it.
Okay.
Lady Garnett is standing on top of this balcony, just like staring down at them. Where are the rest of your companions?
I believe at the library.
Interesting. What are they studying?
I don't know. Why the interest?
Oh, I just expected to make a little bit more of a spectacle of this.
Oh. You requested my presence, not theirs.
Yes, but I expected they would accompany.
Well, here we are.
Tell me, Arkmir, where do your loyalties lie?
To us.
And when you say us, do you mean your friends or your family?
Sorry. My head is like, why not both? Well, does it matter?
You see, it does, because the times are changing.
That's a good song.
And our father has demanded action be taken. It's time for you to prove where your loyalties lie.
Fly with pleasure.
Many
This
months
big one
ago,
starts freaking out.
many months ago, in the city of Marinuan, there was a job, and you couldn't complete it. So we decided to take action and make it so that you would have to make a choice. She puts up her hand behind her and like gestures forward, and coming into view behind her is a child,
Wait.
roughly about 10, maybe 12 of age, small boy, crying, like little.
Which
pale
one does he look
blonde-
like?
Pale blonde hair. He doesn't look like any.
Oh,
of them.
okay.
Wait, he just like floats in? Oh, she's on the
He's got
balcony.
a chain around his
Oh,
neck
God.
and his arms. And she pulls him forward, floating in the air. Sends him over the balcony. Comes down, lands in front of you. There was a contract that a certain Salvir Erebus was meant to complete. Salvir Erebus disappeared that night. The contract unfulfilled. Our father was most upset. Family? Or she yanks another arm forward, and coming into view, another figure chained with her neck, with a chain hanging from it.
Trapped.
2 arms grasped together. A pale-skinned elf with dark black
Oh,
eyes,
that one.
long
Mrs.
flowing
Halfway.
black hair tied into a braid. That's just like gritting her feelings, or like gritting her hands and
Your
her
feelings.
and her neck in like defiance that she is just like pulled forward by this chain, yanking her into view.
Oh god.
You
She's
hear in
wearing
your head,
long
"Art."
black robes that are very similar to your companions, Calthier's, but a little bit more tattered. She's just in chains and is yanked forward. There's this Lady Calthier, Lady Garnett.
It's not a name.
It's too late. We've already figured it out.
As Lady Garnett reaches down and pulls out a long rapier that you distinctly remember. It's the long black blade of shadow that was once frozen in a statue of ice in our building,
Oh, had her sex done.
in our home.
They can
As she points it at this figure that looks like your companion's neck.
Right.
Family or friends? You
Well,
make your
have you-
choice.
What do you need me to do?
You finish the job, and she walks free. You don't, and your friend loses someone he cares for very much. This kid is just on the ground with his chains, crying, whimpering on his knees, like sitting there, and you recognize the boy.
Right.
His name is Quinn Bicconi. He is the second son of the Bicconi family.
Do I remember the details of this contract? Beyond the
Yeah.
why?
It was a job. It was a job that your people wanted completed.
This was revenge against the Picconis.
You're not sure about why the job was there. This was for you. You were just coming up in the ranks. You
Yeah.
were trying to make a name for yourself. This was the job. But this was the one that finally broke you.
Correct. Yeah. You know what I've done for the family.
Oh, this isn't about that family. This is about us. And your blood runs cold as ice. And you just feel a presence watching at you with glaring ice blue eyes. You feel it in your soul. This chill just runs down you. Daddy. Don't disappoint your sister.
Is there no other way? Something more I can do instead?
The sword that she is holding. She pulls it and stabs the woman in the side. The woman who looks like Heather winces in pain, clutches her side, grimaces, stumbling a little bit. What would you like to do?
How old this kid now? What is he doing? He's just down by my side in chains?
He's in front of you on his knees crying.
Right. And is this boy free to go? If the end? You're gonna kill him regardless. Why have me do this?
To
You-
prove your loyalty. If you wish, I will very well slit the throat of this young one, even though there is much information that I would like to learn from her.
I don't wish for you to kill her. Or
If
to
you
kill this
don't, then
boy.
kill this boy.
Well, like I said, if-
Only one of them will walk out of this chamber alive.
I'm gonna say just
Mhm.
then tell big one and I will take a psychic dagger and I guess like plunge it into this child's head.
As you're about to do that, I'm gonna get the two of you to make an initiative roll, really quickly.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
12.
6.
Oh.
Strangely enough, before either of you two can react, a figure appears in glowing chainmail armor and darts in front of this figure, parrying your strike. It's wearing like a long red tabard, a little bit of flowing grayish blonde hair. A figure that next week will be played by Bobby.
Oh!
And that's where we're going to pick up.
Oh, I'm on the edge, motherfucker! I was so close to casting something.
In this combat, as Bobby tries to
Depending
save
on what
this
you
lady.
answered, like what you were about to do, I was about ready to just... Let's go.
I actually I had no idea what you were gonna do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the whole history of this thing, and I'm like, you don't know her.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you know me, but like, I don't know how deep this goes.
Yep.
The most I know is who this kid is like associated with, I guess.
Baconis?
It's a bagoni.
All I know is
The Bologna family?
the big one just saw some shit,
Yes.
and he ain't happy.
But that's where we're going to end tonight's session. We will have a guest appearance next week.
Holy shit.
Big one should have come to the library.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, you probably.
Oh.
I honestly wasn't expecting you guys to split up until today when we talked, and I was like, "Oh, well, okay, we'll figure something out."
Yeah. No, it made a lot of sense.
You
in
wouldn't
my
have had to witness that. I just would have done it ASAP.
head. Things would have
Like,
gone crazy
easy.
if I
This
was there.
kid?
Yes.
Yeah, things would have been very crazy if I was there.
You want me to kill a kid? Sure. What?
Anyways, tune in next time in the alcove. Bye.
Bye.